what happened last week should not outweigh what happened last decade or what has been happening. You've been in that situation where something that has happened well over a decade suddenly happens only once in the wrong way, and every other thing is judged by just that one isolated happening, and the person or the contract or whatever is terminated. Okay, this is called recency bias. Recency bias is number 19 in our 225 plus biases or bias theories. Now, in this bias, you can see it is very close to availability bias and salience bias. But recency bias has its own unique signature. And this signature is particularly expensive, and that is time. Time seems to make people forget what went right. Yes, sometimes to forget what has been nice in relationship or in business. Okay, so recency bias is a tendency to give disproportionate weight to recent events, experiences, and information, while systematically undervaluing older historical and long-term evidence when making judgments, predictions, and decisions. And in relationship, it is devastating most times. You've seen where a guy who is doing an Okada business or a lady who is doing something like hairdressing, very tedious jobs, saw a guy or a lady through university, through school, and now it's time for them to marry because they agreed they were going to marry. The guy now says, "You are not my level, you are not my type. This other lady is coming." Or the lady says, "You are not my type. This guy is coming and he wants to take me to America. He's bought me this one and that one. He's built house for my parents. How much did you spend? So we can refund you." Okay, so this always happens, and it's very important that you know that time, why time can heal things, time can make things to go, time can make people forget. So whatever just happens feel more real, more relevant, and more representative than everything that came before it, regardless of how small, isolated, or representative that recent event actually is. So it is the mental equivalent of judging an entire ocean by the last wave that hit the shore. One recent wave, 40 years of the ocean serving you is thrown away from the window, and the wave wins. Okay? In business, the same thing. Business could be nice for a long time, and then one simple mistake, something goes bad, and then you are a bad person. A vendor could be every good thing. Then one day he or she makes a mistake of not being early or disappointing, and then you forget everything. So it's very important that we are able to understand some of these things. Yeah. In marriage and relationship, there's something. A married couple has built 12 years, 12 good years of genuine partnership, genuine relationship, shared sacrifice, mutual support, beautiful memories, deep friendship, and proven loyalty through some of the life's hardest seasons. Okay? Then they go through 6 difficult months: financial pressure, communication breakdown, distance, tension that neither of them knows how to resolve quickly. In the heat of that recent pain, one partner begins to wonder if the marriage was ever good, begins to question whether they chose the right person. Yeah? Begins to entertain thoughts of exit and divorce. That's why most times you see a lot of people who divorce at 30 and 40 and 25 years marriage, and you're wondering why did they divorce? But above all, you see that there's nothing that happened in marriage that caused divorce that did not happen in another that never caused divorce. That doesn't mean people should stay and die in marriages. That's not the point I'm making. Now, 12 years of evidence, 12 years of, you know, beautiful things quietly archived, removed, then 6 months of difficulty loudly promoted to defining truth. So recency bias is not just only in investment or business, it has ended marriages that were fundamentally sound during the very season they needed the most commitment. They ended. So, what's the fix? Three immediate actionable moves, as we will always say. Number one, extend your evaluation window deliberately. So, whenever you're about to make a significant decision about a person, investment, or strategy, a business, force yourself to look beyond the last 30, 60, or 90 days. Ask question, what does the last 1 year, 3 years, 5 years of evidence say? The longer your evaluation window, the less power any single recent event holds over your judgment. But remember, people change. So you can also see that this person has really changed for worse, or this business has really changed for worse, but you need to evaluate longer. Now, create a personal and business performance baseline. Okay, document your key metrics, your relationship health markers, your business KPIs consistently over time, not just when things go wrong. Now, when recency bias strikes, you need historical data to counter it. Without documented history, recent experiences become the only available evidence. With it, you can see clearly whether what just happened is a pattern or is it an anomaly. Number three, pause all major decisions made in emotional recency. Okay? If a significant event like a market crash, a painful argument, a bad business week, a betrayal had just occurred, implement a mandatory waiting period before making irreversible decisions. 24 hours minimum for moderate decisions, 30 days for major ones, as far as it's not life-threatening. Recent emotional events could have long-term, you know, um, could have long-term like consequences. Okay, so why don't you wait a little? Yeah, look at it properly. Yeah, don't allow it to cloud what has happened before. Time creates the distance needed to see the full picture. Time creates that distance. Okay, now I want you to live with this question. In your business and in your relationships, what long-term truth are you currently dismissing because of something that happened very recently? The employee you're about to let go, whose 5 year track record is exceptional, but whose last month has been difficult. Do you want to let him go? Do you want to let her go? The investment strategy you are abandoning that has delivered consistent returns for a decade but stumbled in the last quarter. Do you want to just throw it out of the window? The marriage you are reconsidering that has 14 years of foundation but 6 months of turbulence. Do you want to just throw it away like that? The business you are about to close that has had 3 years of growth but one bad season. Is it a pattern or is it just a recent event? So recency bias makes the recent feel like the truth, but the truth is almost always longer than the last episode that you've encountered. Yeah? Always wait it out sometimes. Always wait it out sometimes. You can hurt people so much by those kind of decisions. Don't let your last 2 days override your last 6 years. Look further back, judge more wisely, and give the long game the respect it deserves. Now, this bias number 19 complete. Now, I hope the series is delivering value to you. Yeah, share this with someone who is making a long-term decision based on short-term pain. I will always ask you, when was the last time you fed the mind that makes the money? Click the link below and join my masterclasses.